Welcome to Adu Globe. Discover new ideas, learn exciting things, and be amazed every day. This video is created for informational and analytical purposes only. The events and details presented here are based on publicly available sources. We do not support or oppose any political or military group. All visuals and footage are used only for illustrative purposes. We strictly do not promote violence, hate, or extremism in any form. On the 9th of August, 2025, a major operation unfolded in the southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis. According to official confirmation from the Israeli Defense Forces and Shin Bet, the strike targeted senior Hamas commander Nasser Musa, a figure considered central to the group's military structure. The operation, described as intelligence-led, relied heavily on drones and advanced surveillance systems. Israeli authorities stated that the aim was to disrupt Hamas activities and prevent future attacks. On the ground, the news drew mixed reactions, with local sources reporting heightened tension across the region. Internationally, the development sparked concern, as several countries voiced alarm over the escalating situation. This operation offers a stark glimpse into the complexity of the ongoing conflict, and raises new questions about the uncertain future of the region. On August 9, 2025, the Israel Defense Forces carried out one of their most significant precision operations in recent months, striking deep inside Khan Yunis, a city in southern Gaza long considered a stronghold of Hamas. The operation, officially named Operation Gideon's Chariots, was designed after weeks of careful planning, surveillance, and intelligence gathering. It targeted high-value Hamas positions, with the primary objective of neutralizing Nasser Musa, the senior commander who led Hamas's military control department. According to Israeli military sources, Musa was a central figure in coordinating military strategy, intelligence collection, and internal security within the organization. By striking him, Israel intended not only to eliminate a key leader but also to disrupt the chain of command that enables Hamas to plan and execute complex attacks. The strike itself unfolded in a matter of seconds. Reconnaissance drones had already mapped the area, providing real-time data to Israeli fighter jets circling in the air. With precision-guided munitions, the jets struck multiple Hamas facilities, including command centers and suspected tunnel entrances, reducing them to rubble before militants could react. Drone footage later released by the IDF highlighted the speed and accuracy of the attack, underscoring the effectiveness of Israel's intelligence-led strategy. The elimination of Musa was confirmed shortly after the strike, marking a decisive blow to Hamas's operational structure. What makes this operation particularly notable is the level of coordination behind it. Israeli intelligence agencies had tracked Musa's movements for weeks, waiting for the right opportunity to strike without causing large-scale civilian harm. Military analysts point out that such missions are designed not only to neutralize immediate threats but also to send a broader message, that Hamas leadership cannot operate with impunity, even in fortified urban centers. This approach reflects Israel's wider military philosophy: precise, targeted strikes that maximize effectiveness while minimizing unintended damage. For observers, Operation Gideon's Chariots is more than a tactical event. It is a demonstration of how modern warfare combines advanced surveillance, real-time intelligence, and surgical precision to achieve strategic goals. In the case of Khan Yunis, it represented both a short-term victory against Hamas and a calculated step in Israel's ongoing campaign to dismantle the group's military infrastructure. Nasser Musa was regarded as one of Hamas's key figures, playing a major role in maintaining and organizing the group's military structure for many years. He was considered a central link not only in southern Gaza but also in the broader strategy and coordination within the movement. Reports suggest that he acted as a bridge between different brigades, overseeing planning and command responsibilities for several significant operations. His influence extended across both the political and military wings of the organization, making him a strategic personality within the group. Analysts note that Musa's leadership helped Hamas function as a more coordinated and structured force in the region. He was believed to have been deeply involved in recruitment, military training, and the distribution of resources, establishing a wide network that made him a high-value target in the eyes of security experts. Defense observers point out that the loss of a commander at this level can create leadership gaps, disrupt decision-making processes, and potentially weaken the chain of command. Musa was also seen as part of a younger generation of leaders who emphasized modern technology, communication systems, and strategic partnerships. Under his guidance, Hamas repeatedly sought to adapt its strategies in response to changing circumstances, which highlighted his role not only as a military commander but also as a long-term planner. His death is being described by regional security experts as a significant development. It represents not just the loss of an individual, but also the weakening of a network that he had built and maintained for years. The central question now is whether Hamas can fill the vacuum left behind, or if his absence will create long-lasting challenges for the organization. This is why Nasser Musa's name and role have become a focal point in international discussions, as his removal could directly influence the balance of power in the region. The elimination of a senior figure such as Nasser Musa carries both military and political consequences that extend beyond the immediate event. From a military standpoint, the loss of a commander at this level can cause temporary disruption within an organization's command structure. Leadership transitions are often complex, and the absence of an experienced strategist may slow down the decision-making process, affect operational efficiency, and create internal competition among potential successors. Security analysts suggest that the coming weeks may reveal whether Hamas is able to reorganize effectively or whether this loss creates longer-term vulnerabilities in its military planning. On the political side, such incidents often have broader ripple effects in the region. The targeting of high-ranking leaders tends to draw international attention, fueling diplomatic debates at the United Nations, within neighboring states, and among global powers with vested interests in the Middle East. Governments and organizations frequently use these developments to reassess their positions, alliances, and policy approaches. In particular, civilian populations may experience heightened uncertainty, as military escalations often influence peace negotiations and humanitarian conditions. Furthermore, the event could shift dynamics within Gaza itself. Political observers note that when senior leaders are removed, rival factions or emerging figures sometimes attempt to reshape the organization's strategy, leading to shifts in priorities. This can either harden positions or open new channels for negotiation, depending on how internal power balances evolve. Internationally, the incident adds another layer to the already complex diplomatic landscape. Countries engaged in mediation efforts may face increased pressure to address the root causes of the conflict, while humanitarian agencies may call for stronger measures to protect civilians caught in the crossfire. Ultimately, the military and political implications of this event highlight how the loss of one individual can ripple outward, affecting not just an organization, but also regional stability, international diplomacy, and the daily lives of those living in the conflict zone. In any conflict, beyond the military operations and political debates, the most significant impact is felt by the civilians caught in the middle. In southern Gaza, families have faced repeated cycles of displacement, loss, and uncertainty. Each airstrike or operation not only changes the strategic situation on the ground but also disrupts the daily lives of thousands of ordinary people. Many residents have been forced to leave their homes, taking only what they can carry, and seeking shelter in temporary accommodations such as schools, hospitals, or makeshift tents. For children, this environment often means a break in education, limited access to healthcare, and the psychological stress of growing up in a zone where stability is fragile. Humanitarian organizations working in the region highlight the immense challenges they face. With supply lines often restricted and infrastructure damaged, providing food, clean water, and medical aid becomes a critical but difficult mission. Doctors and nurses in overcrowded hospitals frequently work with limited resources, while international aid agencies call for safe corridors to deliver essential relief. These voices emphasize that, regardless of political affiliations, the protection of civilians must remain the top priority. At the same time, human stories emerge that reflect resilience. Communities often come together to support one another, sharing what little resources they have and offering comfort in times of grief. Parents strive to provide a sense of normalcy for their children, even in temporary shelters. Stories of survival, courage, and solidarity demonstrate the strength of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming hardship. Globally, these humanitarian realities shape the way international audiences perceive the conflict. Images of families under strain, children facing trauma, and aid workers risking their safety remind the world that beyond military or political consequences, the crisis is fundamentally about people. Humanitarian perspectives push forward the urgency of dialogue, negotiation, and long-term solutions aimed not only at ending violence but also at restoring dignity, safety, and hope to those who suffer the most. As this story reaches its closing chapter, one truth remains clear. Wars and conflicts may be fought by armies and leaders, but their deepest impact is always felt by ordinary people. The voices of families who have lost loved ones, the children who dream of safety and education, and the communities struggling to rebuild their lives remind us that behind every headline lies a human face. These are not just numbers or statistics, they are real lives, each carrying its own story of pain, resilience, and hope. In every moment of destruction, there are also glimpses of humanity, a medic staying up all night to save lives, a volunteer handing out food, or a teacher trying to bring normalcy back for children in the middle of chaos. Such acts of courage highlight the strength of the human spirit, even in the darkest times. They remind us that compassion and solidarity are as much a part of this narrative as conflict and loss. The political and military consequences will continue to shape discussions in international arenas, but the humanitarian dimension should never be forgotten. Peace and stability can only emerge when the world listens to the voices of those who suffer most and ensures that their needs are not overshadowed by politics. The future will depend not only on decisions made in government halls but also on the collective effort of humanity to choose dialogue over division and empathy over indifference. This closing reflection is not just an ending but also an invitation to remember, to learn, and to hope. Because while conflicts may scar generations, the resilience of people, their will to survive, to love, and to rebuild, is what keeps the possibility of peace alive. This video is created for informational and analytical purposes only. The events and details presented here are based on publicly available sources. We do not support or oppose any political or military group. All visuals and footage are used only for illustrative purposes. We strictly do not promote violence, hate, or extremism in any form.